My pranams to all Atmajyotis, divine light of self. Let us contemplate on the sloka number 69 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita about the state of enlightened being. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagrati Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Mune. That which is daylight, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. What is night for all living beings? Tasyam Jagrat Saimi. It's a awakened state for enlightened being. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani. What is waking state for living beings? Sa Nisha Pashyado Munehe. That is the deep sleep for the enlightened one. So a very simple interpretation of this is the enlightened one is fully aware of his self nature. Enlightened one is fully aware of his self nature. For him, the world of sense objects appears to be Maya or night. He is awake to the inner self, which means it's daylight. Whereas the other living beings are asleep for the world of sense objects, asleep for the world of Atma, self, and they think that the world is real. They are awake to the world of sense objects. So what is the state of enlightenment? Enlightened one sees the world as unreal and self as real, whereas unenlightened one sees the world as real and self as unreal. This is the difference. So this is a way of understanding this. Now let us look at this from the point of view of waking, dreaming and deep sleep state. The waking state, dream state and deep sleep state are the three states we go through every day. Of these three states, which is fundamental? Is waking fundamental, dream is fundamental, or deep sleep is fundamental? For us, the waking is appearing very fundamental. That's why we refer everything with the waking state. We say, I went into sleep, I had dreams, I went into deep sleep, I had a good deep sleep. With reference to waking state, we refer other two states. Right? Is waking state fundamental? From waking state, we speak of dream state as unreal. Because in dream state, our impressions are coming out. Okay? In dream state, our impressions are coming out. And I know after all, it's a dream, we will say. Right? We know that dream is unreal because dream is carrying the impressions of waking state. Okay? That's why I say dream is unreal. From waking state point of view, dream seems to be unreal. But in dream state, are you able to find out whether you are awakened or dream state? In dream state, you can't find out whether you are in dream state or waking state. Right? So dream state appears to be a waking state when you are dreaming. So now you are in a waking state. Can you tell me you are in dream state or waking state? For all you know, you are sleeping at home and dreaming that you are listening to me. Which means, from waking point of view, if dream is unreal, okay, and in dream state you are not able to distinguish between waking and dreaming, either you consider both as real, waking and dreaming as real, or you consider both as dream, because one cannot be dream and one cannot be waking state. So dream is real. Dream is you consider dream. You say it's a dream state because of impressions. Both waking and dream state, if you consider as impressions, they are coming from deep sleep state. Of all these three states, deep sleep state appears to be more fundamental compared to dream state and waking state. If you consider waking state as fundamental, what was your state before you are born? What was your state? What will be your state after you die? Is it going to be waking state or something else? If you consider deep sleep as fundamental, then there is some sense. In deep sleep, there is awareness that I am blissful. That's why you say, I was blissful, I had a good sleep when you wake up. In deep sleep state, there is no other but yourself. So then what is the difference between the dream deep sleep state and a waking state? In waking state, you forget yourself, your peace, your bliss, and you get involved in the objects of the world. So that is the state of most of the beings. They forget their inner peace and they start seeking the peace in the objects of the world. Now let us take up the case of a Gnani or enlightened one. So enlightened one is aware of his true self, true nature as peace and bliss. Even in the waking state, he is aware of his self. The peace and bliss of his self is not forgotten. In other words, he is as if he is in deep sleep, because deep sleep is a state of peace. Okay. Whereas an unenlightened one is in deep sleep, but the impressions are there, which is sprout again because he has not understood his nature. The impressions will keep coming up. The deep sleep of an enlightened one is the awakened state is the waking state for the enlightened one, because the peace of the self is experienced. On the other hand, an unenlightened one in the waking state is restless because there is no peace. The self is forgotten. Now let us look at the deep sleep state itself. In deep sleep state, you don't have any memory. Only memory is you enter into deep sleep state, and other memories you came out of deep sleep state. There are only two memory records. Right? There are two events recorded about deep sleep. One is coming into memory, deep sleep, and going out of the deep sleep. Only two events are recorded in the memory. So now these two events being recorded in the memory, and there is no gap between the two events. That's why you say even if you have deep sleep for hours together, you don't know how much time you slept, because you have slept out of time. You have gone beyond time in deep sleep. You're not in time. You are going out of time in deep sleep. The time ceases to exist in deep sleep state. Correct? Between two events, there is no gap. So no gap means nothing has happened in between, or there is no time. Which of this is true? The memory will have a record of events which are happening in any point of time. In deep sleep, no event has happened. That's why there is no record. Or there is no time, there is no record. Which is true? Let us take the case of there is no time, there is no record. The time which we experience in the waking state is again an illusion. Because when we are happy, time seems to shrink. When we are in pain, the time seems to have expanded. The time is psychological in nature. There are two times, chronological time and psychological time. If you take a reference of a watch, 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, there is a gap of 1 hour. But if you take psychological time, that 1 hour may slip away any point of time. Which time is real for you? Psychological time or chronological time? For interaction purpose, chronological time is required. But for you, ultimately what matters is psychological time. The psychological time is real, which is actually can stretch and fall back. Right? So, when you are happy, why the time shrinks? Because you enter into timeless space. There are less thoughts. Okay? Thought creates the time. Because thought creates the time, when there are no thoughts, you have entered into timeless space. When you are unhappy, there are more thoughts, that's why time is created. Time appears to have created. But even there, if you take memory record, I'm not speaking of chronological time, I'm only speaking of psychological time. Memory record has two events. One event of entry, each event is, let's say I ate a cup, I ate food, I slept. These are two events. The memory record will not have a timestamp, psychological timestamp. Between two events, there is no gap. That means between two events, there is no time. Even in waking condition, you are going in and going out of timeless space in waking state also. But an unenlightened one is not aware of that. An enlightened one is aware of that in waking state also. Every event in the waking state is appearance and disappearance from consciousness. This enlightened one is aware of. Whereas unenlightened one is not aware of, and he takes that events as sequential and at the relative time, chronological time, and thinks that time has passed. In reality, there is no time passage. We are in a timeless space. Is it very complicated?